everyone, today I'll be reviewing this brand new movie on Netflix called Luckiest Girl Alive, and it is starring Mila Kunis in Whitrock. And this movie is directed by Mike Barker. So when I saw the trailer for this movie, even like I didn't know what was this movie is about. But this movie is actually based on a book, and this movie tells you a story about Anna Fennell, who has this perfect life in New York City. She has this fancy job. She's getting married to this guy who's really rich, and everything seems okay for her. Then nothing happened. That's what this movie I'm gonna be saying is about it, because this movie starts with such a lame plot. Like, you have seen it 1,000 times. You are sitting there thinking, what is happening? Like, this movie's first act is really boring, like, which will turn off many people. Like, many people will be like, not finish this movie because they will think, oh, that's how the whole movie is. But this movie is actually the middle and the last act. It is just like interesting what this movie was trying to tell, the story about, how people get victim of all this thing. Many people are victimized, and after you get victim of this crime, people tell you to be keep quiet, which this movie tried to tell about it, but didn't do that good job. Especially many teens do face this problem, early their age. Many guy try to take advantage of them. This movie tried to bring all this interesting idea, but the execution for this movie is so bad. You're like, it's really very boring. On top of it, Mila Kunis, I am really huge fan of her. I feel like she isn't fit for this role. I felt like the first act, like, because she is really stoic character, like throughout the movie you don't feel anything from her. And this kind of movie, although this movie is trying to tell her, like, all these people are telling her to like keep quiet, like she's pressing all this trauma inside her. Like, this kind of movie, you do want character to burst out at any point, but in this movie she never do it. You know what I mean? Which is like, from movie's point of view, audience will feel frustrated. Like, she doesn't, like, everything is like seems so okay with her, like and end of the way this movie ends, nothing changes, which it does change, but didn't like show Hollywood way. You know what I mean? You don't feel anything for her. Overall, her character isn't very likable, which it is supposed to be, but you don't feel anything for her end of this movie. Although she went through this trauma and the school shooting stuff, which is so real, and all these things do happen in real life, which makes me really sad that many people might not even finish this movie, although this movie was trying to tell a good story, but it didn't do good job on telling it. That makes me sad about this movie. For me, I really like the second and third act. Again, this movie, what is it going for? It's never really worked, but somehow I found this story to be interesting, that it's worth telling. It just, I wish it had a better character. I guess it's based on a book. Maybe that's how the book character is. Who knows? Again, whenever you are whenever you're adapting a story from book, it can be really hard because you don't know which part to take, which not to like cut out. And this movie, I felt like this movie faced that problem. Like, this movie have a lot of stuff like happening for no reason. Like, so many scenes are so dragged out, and especially all this like a backflash scene and the present scene doesn't always match. That was the problem. But overall, as I was saying, this movie story is really important, that it's worth telling. I just wish the execution was better. And that's my thought on this movie. Let me know in the comment, what do you think about this movie? If you enjoyed this review, don't forget my other reviews and other movies. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Until I see you next time, please take care.